winding trek down the dirt road. He pushed limits, speed-wise, topping 27 in a 25 miles per hour zone. The rebel. Ski and snowboard-topped SUVs passed us, heading back up the hillside. Tourists taking advantage of the good powder, leaving us working stiffs hard-packed trails and whatever's left over at the bar. Not that I was a skier, or snowboarder, or participated in any form of winter sport, really. Outside, cold. Inside, cozy. Jordan, my perfect sister, and her husband Lucas were skiers. Mom and Dad preferred the act of bragging at the lodge about their doctored daughter and her handsome husband to the actual act of skiing, which kept their bones and reputations intact. Win-win. "Here to ski?" I asked the driver. "Haven't thought that far ahead," he said, rolling to a stop at the sign at the bottom of the hill. "But maybe I'll work it into the schedule." I pointed to the left, directing him toward the center of Stowe, where the magic happens, especially after the first big snowfall of the year. Giant, fluffy snowflakes continued to drift from the sky, which was giving way from cloudy gray to almost blue, with wisps of yellow that hinted at sun to come. If you haven't already staked out the food situation, here are some inside tips. I gestured at each restaurant as we passed, pointing out my favorite spots to grab a bite. You're not going to want to miss the seafood at Sal's. Have the scampi, and don't bother waiting for a table. You get better service at the bar, and Sal himself loves to tell stories about his life in Italy. For pizza, always Nani's. Baja's is prime Tex-Mex for the area, but I'm sure what you're used to is far superior. The Barn is the place for breakfast, but watch out, I hear it's haunted. "I can handle a few spirits," the driver said, his gloved hands flexing on the steering wheel. His chin tightened a bit as he smiled, and holy crap, I could have cut a mango with that jawline. I returned the smile, thinking back to the vlog I hosted back in high school. YouTube was still this shiny new thing, and my parents thought that handing me a video camera was a good idea. Something to keep me occupied while they traveled for business and to visit my sister, who'd been newly enrolled in college across the country. Obviously, with Alkaline Trio and AFI on my iPod on repeat, I made it my mission to make things weird. I maintained a vlog sharing spooky tales about Stowe's haunted happenings, while the ghost lore was mostly fabricated by yours truly, with some local legends mixed in. My semi-regular videos had earned a semi-regular following, and lots of believers. "This one?" the driver asked, flicking on his signal and slipping into my usual parking spot in front of the store. I nodded. "Thanks for the ride," I said, leaping from the car without so much as asking his name. New York plates, not worth the effort. He'd be gone as soon as the powder was packed, just like the rest of them. I didn't even watch as he pulled out of his parking spot and back out onto the road. A truck with a giant V-shaped plow rounded the corner then, flinging snow and grit everywhere, and splashing through a salt and slush puddle before coming to a stop in the spot my chauffeur had just vacated. Though her official title was best friend, Natalie filled the role of family better than my closest relatives. She and her trusty rusted plow truck cleared snowy driveways in the winter, when she wasn't rolling up her sleeves to help her parents run their multiple Hallmark-esque hospitality-focused ventures. She cranked down her window, halfway, since its ability to open fully had disappeared somewhere in the early 2000s, and grinned through the gap. "Getting rides from strangers, Lex? Looks like your morning started off pretty great." I had a little snow situation. I mimed measuring the height of a snowbank, putting the peak at an exaggerated chest level. "I told you to get a new shovel before the weather rolled in," Natalie said. "Someday you'll listen to me. Someday you'll show up with a shovel for me, and I'll be off the hook." Natalie thrust a thumb over her shoulder. My eyes followed the gesture to the bed of her truck.